Welcome back to Autism Live. I'm very excited because right now in the studio we have two wonderful people. We've had Jordan Kamnitzer before on the show, but he's here for the first time with his girlfriend Toni Kent. They are the subject matter for the wonderful film Perfectly Normal, and they're joining us right now in the studio. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
We're thrilled to have you here. Jordan, you've been on the show before, and we had such a lovely conversation, and we had so many people write in and say how delightful you are, because you are. And we had talked then about sometime we had to have you come on with your girlfriend, Toni, and what a perfect excuse to have you guys on, because there's a film that, it's about a 12-minute long film, a documentary, and it looks at your life, Jordan, but a little bit of your life together with Toni. So let's start with, how long have you guys known each other?
Well, Toni and I have known each other for 30 years, but we've been going together for 25.
Okay, so there was a 5-year period of time when you guys just were friends and just knew each other, but weren't boyfriend and girlfriend.
Or just acquaintances in between that, because I saw her at Santa Monica College and also at some social groups that when she had some former boyfriends that she accompanied them with, including L.A. Gold and Haverim.
So you kind of had to wait for a time when she was available to ask her out? Was that kind of what the thing was?
Yeah, that was part of it, but also it was a dry spell that I had been in for nearly 4 years after the breakup of a past girlfriend. And finally, we decided, to take a chance, and Toni came into my life, in terms of dating and being together.
And you guys have been together for 25 years. Have you been living together all that time?
Only on weekends. She currently lives in a program called Home Ownership Made Easier, which is funded through the West Side Regional Center, and she lives with a male roommate in separate bedrooms.
Okay, and then, but you guys, you spend weekends together, and you spend a lot of time together.
Do.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. Now, this film, we got to talk about this, Perfectly Normal. It's absolutely beautiful. And one of the things that comes up in the movie that you say at least a couple of times is that what's normal, right? What is it that you say in the film? You say, if you think about it, all people are a little bit different, or nobody's really normal. What is it you say, Jordan?
Well, I say that nobody is perfect, even though we try to be on the course of being perfectly normal regarding on our autism, or in case of Toni with a Tourette syndrome.
And we hadn't brought that up before, but you you have a diagnosis on the autism spectrum. And
yes.
When were you diagnosed?
Well, I was diagnosed a few months after I was born, but as autism. But then I discovered in 2002 that I heard that Asperger's syndrome has a link with bipolar disorder, and I know that I do admit that I do have mood swings of either excitement or being down in the dumps and so forth. So then when I figured that out with that link between bipolar disorder and Asperger's syndrome, because since on the other hand I do things like drive and get around easily in terms of my intelligence, so therefore, and I knew that I am on the spectrum and have Asperger's.
Right. And Toni, you have a diagnosis of Tourette's.
Yeah.
And when did you find out that you had Tourette's? How old were you?
About 17 or 18 years old, but it was really a tough battle, during my school years, because kids used to tease me when I used to make noises and stuff like that, and twitch and shake, and I couldn't change that, and I was thrown out of classes, and kids weren't nice to me. They teased me and wouldn't let me participate in games that really used to hurt my feelings, Yeah. But, I'm on a medication now. I'm so glad and so grateful for it that I've been on it since I was 18 years old, and it keeps the twitches and the stuff controlled. But I do twitch and maybe shake a little bit, but it's not nearly like before. I mean, I couldn't even function before. I couldn't even hold a spoon, or it was terrible, and I felt so bad too, and I didn't even know what it was at first, but at least I'm aware of what it is now, and I got the medication that's under control so I can have a normal life now. Yeah.
Wonderful. And one of the things that I love about in this film is that, I would imagine that sometimes when you tell people what your diagnoses are, that they get a picture of what your life must be. And we get to see in 12 minutes that you guys have a rich and full life. And I said to you this morning, Jordan, that film is just evidence to me that I think you might be the bar, the measurement for normal, and the rest of us are somewhere, in relation to that. Because look at you. I mean, you guys have a relationship that's 25 years. Like, how many people do you know that have that? I can only count on one hand people that I know that have been together for 25 years. And yet you guys have difficulties. You talk about this in the film, and about how much work it is to be in a relationship. What kinds of things do you guys have to do to be able to get along?
Well, we can't run away from our problems or our troubles. We always work things out. And I feel very lucky to have Jordan as many years as I've had him, because there are a lot of couples out there that don't last very long, and what's really terrible is that, I don't even want to say this, they beat each other and they hit each other, and I mean, it's really awful, it's horrible. And I just feel that if ever anybody that does that, I mean, they're not right in the head. They're sick in the head, and I would really recommend that they would need some psychiatric treatment, because it isn't normal. I mean, It's definitely not a perfectly normal film. I mean, it's terrible.
Right,
and when I hear about it and I see it, I mean, it's terrible. It makes me feel so sad.
That's not a relationship that you would want to be in, or a relationship that any should want to be in.
Jordan would never do a thing like that. I would never either. We would know that. That's silly. I mean,
and you care about each other, so that wouldn't happen.
But out of honesty, we do argue a lot. But that's a lot better than physical. I mean,
Exactly. But I love, and you say it in the film. You say you can't run away from your problems, and yet the normal world. There's a lot of that. Wouldn't you agree, Jordan? That
we definitely wouldn't be able to live with each other. That would be really serious.
It would be hard.
But, I have no control over anybody else's behavior.
Where did you guys learn all this?
I have no control, and I feel bad for the other people out there. But if I ever see it, of course I would report it.
Absolutely.
That's definitely something that you would have to report, right away, because it can be dangerous.
Absolutely. But you said you guys argue.
Yes, we do.
Well, that's normal. Everybody argues
normal.
once in a while. Yeah.
But where did you get this philosophy, both of you, about you can't run away from your problems?
Well,
Jordan was the one that told me that.
And
I'm the one that is so hard-headed,
I mentioned that too, because after viewing, the seasonal animated special of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
I
and you
remember
hear
that.
Burl Ives said that, something amazing thing was happening, and you see that Rudolph was growing up, and you see the antlers now on his head, and Rudolph had learned that when you grow up, you cannot run away from your troubles.
Sometimes that makes me worry sometimes.
Why does it make you worry?
Well, that trouble is going to happen, but I don't know what. You can't predict the future.
Right.
But, I do worry a lot, and I do have anxieties, And, but I know Jordan is absolutely right, and I'm sorry, Jordan, I'm so hard-headed that I drink way too much coffee, and then
too much caffeine.
All that
is that
caffeine.
She's hard-headed and
I
drinks
get
too
mood
much
swings
caffeine.
too when I
Caffeine.
have too much caffeine. Makes the Xanax not work. Because the Xanax that I take, unless it's necessary, and yes, you have to have a prescription for that. That's a very strong drug. It's a relaxer pill. It helps you to relax.
Yes.
And if you take that, one example, plus with a cup of coffee or a Diet Coke, the caffeine is a stimulant, and it doesn't mix with a pill. When it tries to relax you, and then you take it with coffee or a Diet Coke, it makes it not work,
So have you tried drinking like a caffeine-free Coke instead of
I hate it.
I wanted to drink a lot more
There's the
water.
endorsement for caffeine-free Coke.
But I am addicted to it, but I really, I know, I do admit I drink way, way, way too much,
Well, you guys are nothing if not honest. That's one of the things that's so striking in the film, is that there's no, there's no artifice. You guys are just who you are, and you admit to your foibles and the things that
Yes.
drive each other crazy, but you're also very loving with each other. I've
Yes.
spent a little bit of time with you guys this morning, and you support each other. You have good senses of humor. Now I know, Jordan, that you work a job. Is it a full-time job?
Yes, it is.
And I know you take it very seriously, that whenever we're going to film with you, we have to figure out when you can have time off, and that you are a very diligent worker. What is it that you do?
Well, I'm a file clerk for Social Studies School Services, where I've been now employed for 29 plus years, and they've gone through a lot of changes and I'm in the process that I'm being moved from one office to another, and that the room I was in, which was once a supply room, will now be a meeting room, as an example.
Oh, and I'm sure that all that's a little bit discombobulating, but 29 years that you've worked
Yes.
for the same place as an exemplary employee.
Yes.
You drive a car.
Yes.
You live in your apartment and
Yeah.
maintain your own apartment.
Yeah.
All of these things that I think an outsider, if they just heard about you guys, would probably assume that these things were outside of your reach, and yet you've been doing this your whole life very successfully.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think the secret to the success with all of those things has been?
Well, the secrecy, I would say, is, maybe perseverance.
Yes.
That could be one of them. And the other is encouragement itself, even if one has to change on a routine or level. And I've gone through this quite a bit at my job.
Absolutely. And now, Toni, do you work?
Yes, I work part-time at the Westside Regional Center. I've worked there over 10 years, and I love what I do. I love the people there. I feel very grateful and very lucky to have my job and stuff, And I have a very nice job coach that helps me and so forth. And there have been new people and old people that have come and gone, but, they're all very, very nice. I have never, ever once ran into a horrible person at the regional center, except that one person that, remember Jordan, that guy that took Mike Daniger's place,
Yes.
named Kevin, what he was doing? He was escorted right out the door. We had so many complaints from him because what he was doing was horrible, And I was worried, and he was even mentioning that he was threatening to close the regional center down, and I was,
dear.
and I was just
Is
scared.
he gone now?
Oh, he's long gone.
We love that.
I
Yeah.
went to Denise Vernal, remember,
Uh-huh.
and I told her what I was afraid of, and she says, "Don't worry, he cannot do that. He's escorted out the door. He's long gone."
There you
So
go.
someone took his place that used to be Jordan's service coordinator, and he is super, super nice as
Good.
Carmine.
So
And,
that
yeah.
brings up a question for me, though. Do you both still have service providers
Yes,
that
we
help
do.
you to coordinate
Yes,
things?
I
have
How
a
much
different one.
support do you feel like you get? What kinds of things do they help you with?
Oh, my service coordinator is fantastic. I mean, she worries about me. She always makes sure that I'm all right, and she's very caring, and I feel very lucky and grateful to have her. I know I'm a little hard-headed sometimes that, sometimes in the past I didn't let her help me, but now I do,
That's awesome.
And, I do worry that I'm going to lose her, and I did tell her that, and, she says, not to worry, you're not going to lose me, and so forth. And I mean, when I see her and stuff, I feel relaxed, I feel safe, I feel good when I see her, But yes, I do talk a lot, and I do talk to her a lot when she has to get her work done. But I like to socialize and stuff, but I got to get my
wonderful.
work done too,
Absolutely.
I
everybody
get
does.
support from Life Steps Foundation,
Uh-huh.
which is supported by the Regional Center of Westside, and I've had changes of counselors over the years, and I get help in terms of advice on organization and money and cleaning up and so forth itself. And I usually get somebody once a week who comes over to my apartment or to my office during my lunch hour to talk about that.
Wonderful.
And I help Jordan out with groceries and gas money.
There's an amazing.
That's all I can do.
Yeah.
But
There's an amazing scene in the film, and we really want to encourage people. It's 12 minutes, and it'll change your day, first of all, and make you look at things in an entirely different way, make you incredibly grateful, and make you willing to see that there is much more happening in the world of abilities. I don't even want to say disabilities, in the world of abilities, right? Because we all have different abilities. But there is a scene that's kind of heartbreaking for me when you guys go to the grocery store. And you are very excited about the purchases that you're going to make. And then tell us what happens.
Well, the place is called Yummy's, located on San Vicente at Hauser.
That was expensive. I didn't realize that.
It was.
Yeah.
And
So it's more of an upscale, would you say it's an upscale grocery store, that it's a little bit more expensive?
No, Gelson's is high, like Bristol Farms. I mean, I didn't realize how expensive that was.
And so the bill was a little bit more than what you had anticipated.
Yes, I did, yeah.
And I didn't know that either, you know.
Yeah. So what did you have to do?
We had to put some things back, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, after the film was done, I had the extra money in my backpack, and the thing was, it was in Jordan's trunk. So I took that money out, and then we went back into the store, and the things that we put back, we bought those again after the other, you know.
Is it hard? I mean, you know, certainly I'm thinking about the autism parents right now who are watching this, and they're looking at you guys and going, oh, this is amazing. Like, it makes us all so happy to see you guys so happy together. I mean, the rest of the stuff is wonderful too, you guys. The fact that you guys have jobs and that you have wonderful places to live is fabulous. But the fact that you guys are together and that you have this support together and this loving relationship,
and sometimes
it's inspirational.
Sometimes, out of honesty, I don't stop and realize how very lucky I have it sometimes, you know.
Well, we're all guilty of that, right? But to see the two of you together makes us all feel great. But I know, watching the film, I was worried about, is this hard financially, being on your own? Is this something that's really rough for you guys? Do you think so, Jordan?
Yes, it is. It is rough.
And yet, you know, this is the plan for now. You guys are going to keep moving in this direction. What happens? Have you given any thought to retirement and when it's time for you to retire, what that will mean?
For retirement, I know what they say is that unless one has a lot of money, the rule is do not retire unless it's either illness or injury that is, you know, more terminal, or if one can no longer have the urge, you know, to work. So the main thing is to keep on working unless and until you become ill or unless you die.
So that's your, because that's my plan too,
Yeah.
by the way, Jordan. My plan is that I'm going to work right up through lunch on the day of my funeral.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do, definitely. That's what I'm going to do.
Right?
Definitely. I'm grateful I can work. There are a lot of people out there that have a disability that they're too sick to work, you know.
Absolutely. And
that's
there's a lot
sad.
more people who want to work and who can't find a job.
Yeah.
It is very hard to find jobs nowadays.
Even second jobs too.
A lot of
Yes.
people are shopping online now, and they're not getting enough customers in.
Yes.
Because, you know, if
Yes, that's a
in a
good point.
store or a restaurant or anything, if you don't get enough customers in, you know, they can't get paid. And then if they can't get paid, they can't pay the workers or themselves. And they can't pay the lease, the rent to keep the restaurant or the store going, so they have to close it, you know. And then the other people get laid off, you know. And then they're
Absolutely.
out of a job, you know. So what do they do? Especially if the holidays are coming up and if they have, you know, little kids, you're like, where's my present? Where's my doll? And they, you know, it will be, you know, the parents saying, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I lost my job and I don't have the money right now this year. I'm very sorry. And that little kid may not understand and start to cry, you know.
Absolutely.
And it is really sad. And, you know, anybody that has any type of job right now or can work, they are very, very lucky.
We all
they
need
have
to be
it because
grateful who have
it is
jobs.
very hard to find jobs nowadays.
I agree
But
with you,
I know
Toni.
there's always a See's Candies. But Jordan, you know the Beverly Center? Remember
Yes.
that See's Candy store?
Yes, I did.
They closed that.
Oh, really?
They closed it because
That's
they weren't doing
unfortunate.
very well. You know, and a
That's
lot of
unfortunate.
stores at the West Side Pavilion, it's like a skeleton there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
so many stores have closed and stuff. And I heard no date's been set that, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I did hear from someone that they're going to tear down the West Side Pavilion because they're
hope
not
not.
doing too well, but they're going to keep the Landmark Theater and the Macy's.
Okay.
But I'm not really 100% sure.
Right.
But that's
it's
what
just,
I
Right.
heard.
It's hearsay. It's
Because they're not doing
Right.
too well. I mean, so many stores are closed. I mean, when the holidays come, what stores are people going to go
Sure.
into? That's the thing. You know, what are they going to buy?
absolutely.
We
Now-
need to be, also careful about the 401k, and they make an issue
Exactly.
of that too.
Yes, but you have a 401k?
Yeah.
And so you've got a plan then.
Yeah.
You're doing okay.
Yeah.
And I hope that people see that I was so struck in the film because one of the things it focuses on for you, Jordan, is that you have this life happening, but that you have an inner life that's happening as well.
Yes.
That when things get a little intense, you have a whole world inside your head that you retreat to.
Yes.
And, it's interesting to me because I think a lot of us do. I think a lot of us have that inner life. Have you ever seen the film The Secret Life of Walter Mitty? Or read the story, The Secret Life of Walter
Yeah,
Mitty?
the one with Danny Kaye. Yeah.
Yes, Danny Kaye. And that things are happening in his real
Yeah.
world, but he retreats to an inner life.
Yes.
And do you retreat to an inner life ever, Toni, or it's all happening here for you?
Sometimes it's a tough decision, a tough question to answer.
It is, and I put you on the spot for it. But I know I'm a creative person, and so I retreat to the inner life inside my head. And I really related to it, Jordan, that there were times when, and I suspect that if my husband were to watch it, he would appreciate too. As women, we tend
yes.
to talk a lot, right?
Yes,
That's our
we do.
thing.
The caffeine makes
Sure.
me like a chatterbox.
Well, I don't do caffeine, Toni, but I talk a lot
Yeah.
too. And I can see sometimes that I'll be yakking away and my husband has retreated to the inner place in his head. And we get to see that happening in the film. We get to see some of the pictures in your head. When you saw the film, is it a good representation of where you retreat to in your head?
Yes.
Had you talked with the director and said, when I retreat to my head, this is what I see? Is that why they showed what they showed?
Yeah, it could be. I could say that from the wonderful direction and production of both Joris and also of Marika.
And we should say their
wonderful
full
that, too.
names because they're the
Sure.
director and producer,
Yeah,
correct?
sure. Yeah, right. Joris de Boche, it's a Dutch name,
Uh-huh.
and Marika Reiner, she's Dutch too, but she's married to the owner of the company, David Reiner.
And they are, we want to give them congratulations that they've just had a baby.
Yeah,
And that's
second
a
child.
wonderful, wonderful thing. And it's a beautiful, beautiful film. Have we put up the link yet, Samantha, to show them? Because the film is available for free online right now through the New York Times. And that anybody can watch it. It's 12 minutes of your life, and sometimes you watch 12 minutes on the internet and you go, I wish I had that 12 minutes back.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guarantee you this is not one of those 12 minutes. You will go through the rest of your day and feel better, especially if you are somebody who loves somebody who is on the spectrum or has Tourette's or whatever, and you want everything in the world for them, right? And to see the two of you in your world, it made me really happy, you guys. It made me really, really happy. I will say there's one scene when you call him in from the other room. Do you remember that?
Jordan, can you come here? I love you, Jordan.
Yes.
Yes.
She calls you in to tell you that she loves you, and you say, okay. And you go to leave, and how many times do you say it to him?
Oh, many times. I drive him crazy.
Is that a normal thing amongst you guys that she calls you in from another room to tell you 22 times that she loves you?
Sometimes that's like a routine.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, why are you apologizing to me?
Not
I
at
thought it
all.
was cute. But does it drive you a little crazy?
Oh no, sometimes it depends, but it doesn't.
It's kind of nice to have somebody to call you
Yes.
in from the other room just to tell you that they love you,
Yes.
isn't it?
Well,
Of course
I got
it
a
is.
big surprise for you, Jordan.
Yeah.
I was going to keep it a secret, but I guess I can announce it to the whole world and you now. It's a very
Yes,
nice
sir.
surprise.
Yes.
Well, I can't treat the whole wide world, but your favorite restaurant, Casablanca?
Yes.
Well, the night before Thanksgiving, I'm going to take you out to dinner
Thank you.
there. It's my treat, and
Thank
that's your
you.
early Christmas present.
Thank you very much.
And on Thanksgiving that morning before we go, where do you want to go to breakfast? But I can't go anywhere expensive.
It
Where
would be
would you
more on
like
the
to
Denny's
go?
because you know how several stores are closed and
Okay, I'm
restaurants,
gonna. Can I
markets, all
try
that.
the pumpkin pancakes there? You gonna try that?
Oh no, I'll save it for my meal. But thank
And I'll
you.
have the iced cappuccino with it too. And on my pancakes, I want syrup and I want butter on it. And oh, I'm having such a craving right now
She
for
likes to
something
talk
sweet.
food quite a
And
bit
you
in
know what? You know what really
She's a
sounds
woman.
good right
That's
now.
what we do, Jordan. We
Yes.
like to talk, and we like to talk about food.
Yeah,
Do you know
sure.
what sounds good right now?
That sounds good right now.
Oh gosh, Jordan, you know what sounds good right now?
What?
A hot fudge sundae
Oh,
right
my
now.
gosh.
That's what I want to go out and have a hot fudge sundae right now.
Yeah.
That's
with
an interesting
whipped cream
thing.
and a cherry on top of it. Will you share it with me, Jordan?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, Jordan, you're so sweet.
Sweet,
Am I a lousy girlfriend?
That's another question she asks in the
Yes,
film.
what's up with that? Why do you ask him if I'm a lousy
Sometimes
girlfriend?
I feel a little insecure.
Well, it's I could go back to the fact that when my parents were alive, my father would work as an architect and doing charades, and coming home late, my mother would call him
Exactly.
miserable husband or miserable father for
To kind of
that.
tease him.
Sort of teasing him and some sort of part of it, feeling of it whenever he comes home, procrastinating to the very end on charades and competitions.
Okay, he played charades?
No, charades, charade when you sort of try to finish competitions, for architectural plans.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's what I mean
Something
by
like
charades.
that.
Amazing. Well, as I said, you guys are too cute. You have something there on the table that we wanted to show. Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't that
And
nice?
for people who can't see on the camera, if it doesn't show up, it's a beautiful star. It says perfectly normal, and it says starring, and it has both of your names written on it. It's
Yes.
absolutely beautiful. So now, where did that come from?
An e-buddy who lives in Pennsylvania, a former best buddy who had seen the film, gave me this present, which was outside my apartment door on one Saturday, and it was in a box, and I wrapped it up, and it was just wonderful. And I immediately informed my e-buddy, her name Jennifer Holmes, about it, and said, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. We love you very much, moi. And also attempt to have Toni to speak with her because she was not there at the time, but she left a message
It was
for
so
her.
nice. I was really surprised. That's really nice.
I showed it to
really
people
is.
at work, and I hope to show it to my brother when we go down for Thanksgiving in San Diego in a few weeks.
Really nice. And so, you guys, I'm watching this beautiful relationship it's unique, and yet it's like every other beautiful relationship in the world.
Yeah.
What advice do you give people to stay together for 25 years?
Don't run away from your troubles.
I love that. You want to agree with that? Or
Yes,
you want to add to
totally.
it?
Yes, don't run away from your problems as well, and that you have to work it out. And the kind of lesson you learn from Sesame Street is cooperate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for parents that are out there that are watching this, what helped best prepare you for your life and to be in this relationship? Did somebody help you to know all this? Did somebody I know you said you watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but is there something we as parents can do to help our kids so that they can be in a relationship like what you guys have?
Yes.
Well, share,
Teaching them sharing early on.
sharing, being considerate, being
Absolutely.
thoughtfulness, waiting your turn,
Yes.
showing a little bit more patience,
Okay.
But I do admit sometimes I don't show as much patience. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't,
Yeah,
I'm just
well-
doing that out of honesty, but maybe everybody is like that sometimes.
I love that the title of the film is Perfectly Normal, because no one can ever do anything perfect, right? None of us is
Right.
perfect. We can aspire to share, but we're never going to be perfect. What about you,
But I'm a
Jordan?
lousy girlfriend, Jordan.
No, she isn't. Now, come on. She's not a lousy, because if I was saying if she were a lousy girlfriend, then I would not have had her. But I'm
Oh,
making
you really
sure
mean that, Jordan?
it would have been completely different.
I love you.
Love you too.
Are you going to buy me a hot fudge sundae?
No,
Just
thank
kidding.
you.
But No,
doesn't.
no, 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 no.
Her favorite place is the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, I love the
okay,
Cheesecake Factory. That's my downfall. Every time when I go to the Cheesecake Factory, oh my God, I definitely want to eat.
That's an
I want to
amazing
eat
place.
the fried macaroni and cheese and the cheese enchiladas and the lemon lime cheesecake with vanilla ice cream and lots of whipped cream.
Well, I've heard a lot about restaurants, but
Yes.
do either one of you cook?
I cook all the time.
She does mostly.
Is she a
that,
good
yeah.
cook?
Yeah, she is.
That's
Yes.
wonderful. And you enjoy cooking.
Yes.
I love it. Well, I just want to thank you guys so much. We want to encourage our audience to watch Perfectly Normal, this beautiful film. There is the link to it. It's or you can look on the New York Times. You can search Jordan Kamnitzer and put Perfectly Normal, and it'll come up on the New York Times. It's totally free. Little bit, 12 minutes and a couple of seconds, change. And I guarantee you'll absolutely love it, and you'll get to see more of what you've seen here. This beautiful, beautiful couple.
There is a Cheesecake Factory not too far where.
The Topanga one.
Let's go there.
And
I'm
I
hungry.
also love that
Yeah.
you guys just enjoy yourselves.
Yes.
That you have been able to. I mean, we talked before the show about anxiety and all kinds of things, and yet you are two of the happiest people I've had the opportunity to spend time with this week. So I think this is delightful. I think that you're delightful, and the world should see more of you.
Sure.
I think you're a great medicine for all of us.
Yeah.
So
There are
have
a lot
a
of
wonderful
people-
Thanksgiving.
There are a lot of people out there that I hope would see this, and I hope they would understand it and enjoy it,
I think that they
Because I am very, very nervous right now.
and yet you would never notice it. You seem like you're perfectly
Yeah.
calm and happy.
I am very nervous.
Did you have something you wanted to say,
Yeah,
Jordan?
I have sent this film to a lot of Facebook friends with the note saying, enjoy this moving video and share it with your friends and colleagues. Jordan Kamnitzer.
Yes.
I've been doing that, and I've gotten several responses from that, mostly positive, and it does show up on several of the Facebook people. Some of them will not allow to be shown on their Facebook page, so you have to send it as a private message instead. Yeah.
Yes, but you're great at Facebook.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to go into a second career, social media is definitely a strong point with you.
Sure.
You have a lot of friends, and you network and you recommend friends to me
Yes.
all the time, and
Yeah, ever changing, up to 5,000 friends. Yeah, the
Yeah.
maximum you're allowed.
yes. Well, I just think you guys are incredible, and I thank you so much for being here. We're out of time, but I hope you guys have the best Thanksgiving and the happiest holidays.
Sure, very much.
Remember, I'm taking you out to dinner the night before,
will.
and then on that morning, I'm taking you to
I know,
breakfast.
yeah.
I love that.